أما بعد قال الإمام الصادق عليه السلام قراءة القرآن في المصحف تخفف العذاب عن الوالدين ولو كان كافرين. Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, the sixth Imam, he said, reciting the Quran from the pages of the Quran. Pages of the Quran and reciting means you look at the Quran and you recite it, and not with what you have memorized. So qira'atul Quran fil mushaf, reciting the Quran from the pages of the Quran, tukhaffifu al-'adhaba 'anil walidain. It lightens the punishment of one's mother and father. Walidain means parents. وَلَوْ كَانَ كَافِرَيْنِ, even if they were both disbelievers. It does not mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will waive off, or he might like forgive them completely if someone is a disbeliever. But yes, it lightens the punishment of a person whose even parents are kafirain or disbelievers. And if the guidance was not there, they couldn't get the guidance, and due to that they remain disbeliever, Allah might forgive them, inshallah. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam is talking about the importance of the Quran. And we have in the rawayat as well that even for the grandparents or the forefathers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lightens the punishment when a child starts reciting the Quran, when the child for the first time says Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So this is the importance of the Quran, inshallah. May Allah give us tawfiq to learn the Quran in a true way, inshallah. Moving onward, today we have the second session of this crash course, and inshallah we're going to talk about history of vowels a bit today, inshallah, and after that we will be talking about the Arabic vowels or the Arabic movements, or i'rab, in other words, that is called as i'rab in the Quranic text or the Arabic text. So talking about the history of vowels, in the chapter Tawbah, this is the I think the second or third verse. In that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَآذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِلَى النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ. Now after this, like Allah had made announcement, there is an announcement, آذَانٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. This announcement is from the, this call is from the Allah and His Prophet towards the people, يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ, on the day of the Hajj. أَنَّ اللَّهَ, indeed Allah, bari'un, that Allah, bari'un, He discusses, minal mushrikeen, from mushrikeen, wa rasuluhu, and His Prophet discussed mushrikeen. Bari means to avoid, to discuss someone. So Allah has discussed the mushrikeen, and His Prophet also does the same thing. Now the history tells us in the time of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, one day Imam was passing from one of the streets of Kufa, and he heard a guy reciting the same verse, and when he reached to this word wa rasuluhu, he said instead wa rasulihi, which is definitely wrong. So instead of saying wa rasulahu or luhu, he said wa rasulihi. Now the translation is like, indeed, or that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discussed the mushrikeen, the polytheists, and His Prophet. So this bari is applied on mushrikeen and the Rasul, which is wrong. So Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam stopped that guy, and after that he ordered one of his companions named Abu Aswad Du'ili. Abu Aswad ad-Du'ili. Abu Aswad Du'ili. He ordered him to put i'rab, vowels, the movements, like we have a fatha, we have kasra, we have dhamma, or maybe sukun, or maybe shadda. So he ordered Abu Aswad Du'ili to put i'rab, the vowels, the movements on these letters. And basically what happened is Imam said, like, wherever there is a fatha, Abu Aswad Du'ili started to put a dot on top of that letter. Wherever there was a kasra, so let me just put arrows here. Wherever there was a kasra, he started to put a dot below the letter. And wherever there was a dhamma, sorry, he started to put a dot in front of the letter. So this is how these i'rabs, these movements started to be, obviously, they started to use this so that the non-Arabs, when they're reciting, they don't make any mistake. Now, if you guys can see, we have a Quran on the right side where it says Imam Ali, and this is related to Imam Ali. This text, this Quranic verses, and if you can see, like, there is no dot, there is no movement, nothing on it, no fatha, no kasra, no dhamma. Even the letter seen and the letter sheen, they are written the same way. There is no difference. There are no dots of, these dots do not exist. So these dots did not exist in the time of Imam Ali. And then Imam Ali started this, and he ordered Abu Aswad Du'ili, obviously, and he started to put these dots. After that, the recitation that we have, the way we recite, Abu Aswad Du'ili had a student named Asim. In the Arabic, we write Asim like this. All right. He had a student Asim who learned Quran from Abu Aswad Du'ili, and from Asim, there was another student of Asim named Hafs. 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 He learned Quran from Asim. Today, the Quran that we have is the Quran for which, when you see the last page of Quran, whether it's been published in the Saudi Arabia or the Arab, the UAE, Middle East, or the Iran, all of them, when they talk about the Quran, they explain about the certification of Quran. There is a riwayah. They say, هذا المصحف حفص عن عاصم. You will see this word, حفص عن عاصم. And we know that this Asim was the student of Abu Aswad al-Du'ili. So the qira'ah, the way we recite, like we say, adhanum min Allahi wa rasulih. The way we say, we read wa rasuluhu here instead of wa rasulahu or anything else. So this way of reading with these movements, these are started by Imam Ali. He ordered to his student Abu Aswad Du'ili, and Asim learned the Quran from Abu Aswad Du'ili, and Hafs has taken this Quran or learned from Asim. So the narrations, like the authenticity that we have, the certification that we have at the end of the Quran, no matter where it is published, they all write Hafs and Asim. And therefore we know that the Quran that we are reading today is the same Quran that was in the hands of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. It's the same Quran that was read at the time of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. So those who blame us to be having a different Quran, that Shias have a different Quran and they believe that there is a different Quran, they should know that history tells us the Quran even that is in your hands is the Quran which was given by Imam Ali, which was basically the i'rab, the recitation, the qira'ah. It was approved by Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, because Abu Aswad Du'ili, then Asim, then Hafs, they all are the chains that goes back to Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. So this is one of the questions, even if you hear that there is another Quran that Imam had, this is the actual Quran. And if Imam had a Quran in which there is the basically the explanation, like on whom this was, the verse was descended and what happened and all those, the stories related to the verses, that is something else. Obviously we have the tafasir as well. So let's make sure that the Quran that we have today is the actual Quran that was in the time of Imam Ali. And these Arabs today, the Muslimin, if they are reading the Quran with these movements that are on these letters, it was started by Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. And you can see, like at the time of Imam Rada alayhi salatu wassalam, the dots were started like min, fa, and noon. Now this alif has a kasra like fa inna. So this dot is below the alif. So you can see how this was started, and like if Imam Rada alayhi salatu wasalam, it is related to Imam Rada that this writing is of Imam Rada alayhi salatu wasalam. So he started to put like the, instead of fatha, like there was a dot or below, or maybe in front of the letter. So fi, the dots were started, and the red ones are basically the movements of fatha, kasra, dhamma. Now, moving on to the main discussion. Today, inshallah, we're going to talk about the harakat, which means the movements, and we call them the short vowels. And there are three types of harakat or movements. The very first type of the movement or the haraka or i'rab, even in Arabic we call it i'rab. The very first one is the fatha, and this is the sign of fatha basically. So this is the sign of fatha. It always appears on top of letter. So if you see this sign on top of any letter, this line shows it's any letter over here. So if you see this sign on top of any letter, it means that is a fatha. Now the question is, what is the pronunciation of fatha? What is the sound? How does fatha is being pronounced? Remember that we've brought two examples here. Like it sounds like a. It's just at the bottom of the slide. It sounds like a, as in and a, and a, a. One of the pronunciations of fatha is a. The second or, a as in father, a, and a. So we have two types of pronunciations. For fatha, we have two kinds of pronunciation, either a or a. Now, let's give some examples, inshallah. With the examples, it will be more clear. For example, we have the word apple. Here, the sound is a, all right? We have the word and. Again, the sound is a, all right? So I'm just writing the light sound of fatha, all right? If you all agree, a is a light sound, a, apple, and, all right? Example, we have the word example on the top. Example, we don't say example, example, all right? This is again light, all right? Now, let me make some examples for the heavy sound of fatha. We have like the word father, father. It's heavy. All right. What else we can say? For example, it's father, or the astronauts is, again, there is a light sound for a, and we have call or caller, or the sound of a is heavy. And also we can give more examples. So basically for a, we have two sounds. One is light, another is heavy. Remember, yesterday we talked about the heavy letters and the light letters. The heavy letters were basically 8 letters, where we had sad, wad, ta, wa, ghain, qaf, kha, ra. So we have 8 letters, heavy letters. Remember, this sound, this heavy sound applies on the heavy letters. So whenever we're gonna have the heavy letters, in order to pronounce fatha on top of these letters, we need to have the sound of a. All right. Now, I know that those who belong to a Persian background, maybe the Pakistani or Indian, like the Urdu background, they learned that the fatha, the sound of fatha is a. All right. Alif with the fatha or zabar. Let me write down the names as well. Like we're talking about the fatha right now. We're talking about the fatha. Fatha is this, and in Urdu and in Persian, it is called zabr or zabar. All right, they call it zabr or zabar. All right, there when they teach their students, like when they tell the sound of fatha, they usually tell the heavy sound. Whereas we have two sounds of fatha. One is light, one is heavy. The heavy sound which you used to apply here, those from the Urdu background and Persian background, those who were applying the sound of a, alif, zabar or fatha a, ba, zabar, ba. So that is the heavy sound. That is only for these 8 letters, remember. Like we have sa, ba, ta, va, gha, qa, kha, ra. All right. But for the light letters, for example, it is hamza or alif, a. Then we have ba. Then we have ta. You see, it's smooth and light. A, ba, ta, ta, ja, ha, kha. All right. So the light letters, the ones which are not the heavy letters. So we made these 8 letters. These 8 letters. These above 8 letters, they are all heavy. Whenever they will have a fatha, they will have a sound of a. So the answer to the question that why is it important to know whether they are the heavy letters and the light letters in the Arabic language. So the very first difference you will see here, that here we see that whenever we have the heavy letters, the sound of fatha becomes a, like father, caller. You can bring more examples. You can give even more examples to your students or to the kids. And for the rest of the letters, the 20 letters, now these are for the 20 letters. We had 20 light letters, if you guys remember. Other than these 8 letters, the rest were light letters. So for the light letters, we have the sound of a, apple, and example, astronaut. So this a sound, a. Remember, a and a. So even in English, we have these 2 pronunciations. One is with the filled mouth, having a heavy sound like father, caller. And the other way of pronouncing the letter A, or the sound of A, this vowel, is like apple and astronaut, example, and all these things. Now, moving on to the example, if you can just quickly write down, if you can see the alif with the fatha, or is the video in front of that? In the chat, if you can just confirm me that you're able to see hamza with the fatha in the slide, because I noticed that the video comes in the front of, all right. So you can see hamza with the fatha. Ahsantum, thank you. Now, we have the Arabic letters, and let me quickly, change the color of this. So I will circle the heavy letters here. So when I reach to these heavy letters, and when I will pronounce them, you should be able to see the difference of pronunciation between the light letters and the heavy letters. So we have these letters. These are the heavy letters, inshallah. If I miss any, please let me know. So if you can count, how many circles do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we have 8 circles, which tells us that these are the heavy letters. Now, in the Quranic, we can say Sawt al-Lahan, or the recitation, we have a tone which is called Hijaz. Obviously, when a reciter recites beautifully the Quran, he uses different tones. One of them is Hijaz. So I'm going to pronounce these alphabets from Alif till Ya in the Hijazi tone with the Fatha. And what I want you to notice is to pay attention towards these heavy letters and the light letters, how the sound changes when I pronounce heavy letters, and how the sound changes when I am basically pronouncing the light letters. أبت فجاح خاد ذرا زاسشا صام طض عغفقا كلمنا هوايا. So basically, I'm prolonging the sound so you can see the difference. So basically, a, ba, ta, tha, ja, ha, kha. You see, the sound changes when I reach to the heavy letter. Why? It's because of the heaviness of that letter. Because when we take the name of this letter, it is kha. So the sound of fatha goes accordingly. Dal with the fatha becomes da, ra, za, sa, sha, sa. The sad becomes sa because it's heavy. It's the nature of this letter that it has this heaviness in it. Wa, ta, va, a, gha. We don't say ah. This is wrong. If someone says ah, that is wrong. It is a, gha, fa, qa. Then we have ka, la. So qa, ka, la. Ma, na, ha, wa, ya. So this is the sound of fatha. So inshallah, when we will be reciting the Quran, when we will be reciting the any verse, we will be considering fatha for the heavy letters being heavy, for the light letters being right. For example, if I write an example for you, let me just draw a line here so I can write the example here. I'm just putting a fatha on this. So the meme has a fatha or alif. Now, we say Ar-Rahman. Ar-Rahman. Bismillahir-Rahman. Meme is a light letter. I cannot say Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. I cannot make this meme heavy. The main problem, the very first thing, by Bismillah, you can identify that whether this person is reciting this, like the verse Bismillah in Arabic or in his own native accent. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, if I write the Bismillah here again, as we had this yesterday. So Bismillah. So do not make this lam of Allah heavy. We talked about it yesterday. Don't say Bismillah. You're extra doing some effort, putting your effort in order to make this heavy. Just smoothly recite Bismillah. Hir-Rahma. Hir-Ra. Ra. Hir-Rah. Ma. Nir-Ra. Ra is a heavy. Nir-Ra. Him. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Ar-Rahma. Ma. So if I say Ar-Rahma, it is wrong. because the letter mim is a light letter. Me. The sound of fatha for the ones which I did not circle is light. Is light. Why? As the example of and astronaut. All right. Apple. We had all these examples. Alphabets. So is the sound of the light letters. For the heavy letters, remember the example. For example, father, father. All right. We don't say father. Father. Call, caller, call. All right. So we have a sound of kha, ra, sa, la, ta, dha, gha, qa. All right. So if you see a word in Arabic, they say qala. They don't say qala. All right. Qala. Lam again. You see, it's light. Qala. We don't say qala. Qala is wrong. Qala. Qala Rasulullah. Qala la. Qala. La is a light letter. So qaf is heavy, lam is light. Qala. All right. So remember these examples, inshallah, they will help you. So the very first thing that we have in the movements, in the vowels, is fatha. So without this, obviously the Arabs, they cannot pronounce the pronunciation of a. Now the second movement that we have today, which we're going to talk about, the short vowels or haraka or i'rab, even if I write down i'rab here. So for those who know Arabic and Persian, they might have learned it like i'rab al-Quran. So the second one is kasra. The first one was fatha, which was also called zabr or zabar. So if I write down here, for those who learned it as this, maybe they have learned it as zabar. They write this in Arabic or Urdu or Persian like this, zabr. So fatha, the sound of fatha is a in the light letters. For the heavy letters, it is a. So that is the first thing. The second movement that we have, the second i'rab, the second movement or vowel that we have, the short vowel that we have is kasra. And kasra always goes below the letter. It's the same sign. The difference is it's below the letter, and it is also called as they call it as zir, or like in Arabic or Persian or Urdu. If I want to write, they write it like this, zir or zir. So this is how they call it. And the kasra, the sound of kasra, you need to see, this is E. It's not A. I know for the Urdu and Persian background, they say like the kasra, the sound of kasra is A. Like ba with the kasra is B. It's not B. In Arabic, it is B. It is B. It's not B. Pronouncing B for the kasra is wrong. In Arabic, if you want to make your accent Arabic, you need to pronounce it as B. E, B, T, T. All right. So let me just go to the alphabets. So you can see the sound now. E, B, T, T. G, H, H, D. Now you see this is not anymore heavy. Let me just circle the heavy ones. In the case of kasra, we have only these four letters which are in a sequence. Only these are pronounced as heavy in the case of kasra. So we have E, B, T, T. G, H, H, D. The, Ri, Z, C. She, Sli. Sad is heavy. All right. Sad. Say sad and then try to pronounce kasra with it. Sad, Sli. Sad, Sli. Like if I can write down to bring your minds closer to the idea, it's something like this. Sui, sui. So you have a sound of O and then E. Sui, boi, toi, vi. I, ri, fi, qi, ki, li, mi, ni, he, we, yi. So these are the sounds. So if I can like just write down any of like the ni is either it's you can say like this ni, he, we, or with the single e, I don't know, ye, all right, me, li, ki, okay, qi, all right. So remember that in the four letters like sad, wad, ta, dha, the sound is heavy, but obviously we have the sound of e, not a. So remember that here we have the sound of e, e, b, t, t, g, he, di, the, ri, zi, si, she, sli, li, tli, li, صراط الذين. We have the word in the prayer. We don't say صراط الذين. This is wrong. Sad is heavy. The beginning of sad, so صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. So the word صراط, so say the beginning, like the initial sound of the word sad, sad, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. We have like obviously ta is heavy, صراط. So we have these sounds being heavy, like the sound of fatha. صراط الذين واللازين. Lam again becomes light. So inshallah, the more you practice, the more you get the point how to pronounce them. Now, so this was the second movement that we have in the Arabic language. Now, the third movement, moving on to the third one, is dhamma. And obviously, it's written as this, dhamma, with the fatha, dhamma, dhamma. And you might have heard of it, like those from the Persian and Urdu background. They say it as, I don't know, shall I write it like this? Pesh or pish. They write it like this. It's for them like this thing. They know that this is dhamma. It always goes on the top of the Arabic letters. It is always on the Arabic letters, and the sound of this sign, this vowel, the sound is oo, as in oops. So remember, the sound is oo, as in oops. Okay, so the sound of dhamma is oo, oo, as in oops. The example is oops, oo. All right. So let me go to the Arabic letters and let's see how to pronounce it. Like u, bu, tu, thu, ju, hu, hu, du, do, ro. Ro is a kind of heavy letter. Okay. With the dhamma, it has the heavy sound again. Khu, khu, kha, hu, khi. Okay. Du, ru. Sorry. Du, ru, zu, su, shu. So again, sad is heavy. Sad, so, sad, so, sa, so, so. Do, ta, tu, va, vu. U, these are the heavy ones. U is light again. These four letters are permanently heavy, no matter if it's a fatha, kasra, or dhamma. U, gu, fu, qu. Qul huwa Allahu, qu. Ku, lu, mu, nu, hu, wu, you. So some of the people, they like the qari, the reciters, they say we also apply the heaviness on these letters whenever they have the dhamma, but obviously it doesn't matter. Like if you're saying ru or ru, all right, it has its own heaviness. So we do not pay a lot of attention to words like qaf and ghain, or maybe kha, okay? Because usually when we are pronouncing dhamma, we are pronouncing them a bit between heavy and light. But for the alif is like oo, it's not o anymore. It's not bo, it's woo, tu, not to, thu, not thu, ju, not jo. So those who knew that, who have learned it as like dhamma to be pronounced as o, that was wrong. It is u in Arabic. If you want to pronounce the dhamma, it should be pronounced as u. So u, bu, tu, thu, ju, hu, khu, du, du, ru, zu, su, shu, so, do, to, do, ru, gu, fu, ku, ku, lu, mu, nu, hu, wu, you. So this is how we basically pronounce um, these lectures with the sound of dhamma. Now I have an example here for you, and I took this picture from the book. Here we have a rule basically regarding these short vowels. So this rule is regarding the short vowels, and the rule is 1 second rule. This rule is called 1 second rule. This is regarding the short vowels like fatha, kasra, zamma. So let me just write down the 1 second rule. It's regarding 3 short vowels. If I write down the short vowels here, and we know that these short vowels are fatha, which is this. Obviously, these are the examples of fatha, all of them. The second is kasra, which is, sorry, this. And the third one is dhamma, which is this. So 1 second rules tells us that in order to pronounce a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma, you need to pronounce it in 1 second, only and only in 1 second, not more than that. So the amount of, maybe we can say the amount of, if we write, what is the amount of stretching a fatha, there should be a T here, stretching the fatha, a fatha, or, sorry, kasra, or maybe dhamma. What is the amount of stretching? What is the amount of stretching the fatha, kasra, or dhamma? That is only and only 1 second. Now, how can we apply this? Let me give you an example. Now, the book, inshallah, which was shared to the students of the group, they might receive the book. There you will see in the examples, we have 4 columns. The very one on the very first on the left says the Arabic letters. The second one says beginning of the word, like how this Arabic letter appears in the beginning of the word, how it appears in the middle, and on the last column it says how it appears at the end of the word. So here on the top we have all the letters separately with the fatha, okay, and then how it's written all together. So for those who have problem in identifying the letters, that how they are written, like when it's a one word, and they feel difficulty in basically in recognizing the letters, they should go through these examples, inshallah, from the book. So we have here the example. For example, here we have alif with the fatha, which is a, and then we have kha. Obviously, this is a heavy letter. The, which is dal, with the fatha is the. So a, kha, the. Now, when I need to pronounce this word, I should give 1 second to each one of this. Like 1 second to the hamza or alif, 1 second to kha, 1 second to the. So I will be reading this word as a kha the, a kha the, a kha the. Again, sa'ala, I will not say sa'ala or sa'ala or sa'ala. No, I should not. I must not stretch fatha for more than 1 second. The maximum limit of pronouncing a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma is 1 second, just 1 second. So we have only 1 second in order to pronounce a fatha or a dhamma or a kasra. So these are the examples of fatha. So I will read like akhadha. You see, when I reach to kha, which is a heavy letter, I changed the sound of a to a. Akhadha. I came back to a again on the dha, which is light. Sa'ala. Dhara'a. Dhara'a. It's not dhara'a. Dhara'a is wrong. Or zara'a is wrong. Akhaza is wrong. The ones which are light should be pronounced lightly. The ones which are heavy should be pronounced heavily. So akhadha, sa'ala, dhara'a. Now, for the ba, obviously, it appears in the beginning like this, in the middle like this, at the end like this. So, bada'a, 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 sabara, sabara. Now, if you notice that the letter ba is light, and we have one heavy letter here, and one heavy letter here. So, the ra is heavy and the sad is heavy, whereas the letter ba is light. But if you see how I pronounce it, like sa, ba, ra. So you can practice here when you have this thing, sa, ba, ra, sa, ba, ra, sa, ba, ra. And then come to this word and read the word sabara. Read the word sabara, sabara, sabara. Okay. Now, if you notice that obviously we have the heavy letters and the light letters. Even if you don't know any tone of the Quran, like the way we read like Hijaz, Sabah, Nahawan, and all those things that we have, even if you don't know, and you're applying the heavy, like the pronunciation, the heavy pronunciation and the light pronunciation of the Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma on these letters, obviously on the heavy letters, the heavy sound, on the light letters, the light sound, you will have a beautiful tone. You will have a beautiful way of reciting the Quran. You will see the ups and downs in your recitation. Everything will not be the same for you, because if you make everything heavy, then obviously the listeners they will not enjoy your recitation. Or if you make everything light, they will not enjoy it. So you need to apply these rules. These are the basic rules of the recitation. That when we say there are the heavy letters and the light letters, so this is light letters, you need to basically apply the rules of lightness and the heaviness on the letters. For example, we have example here like ta, ra, ka. So first separate the alphabet with the movement ta, ra, ka, and then together taraka, taraka. It's not taraka. It is not taraka. If you say ra, it means you're making ra light. It is heavy. Taraka. Fataha, fataha, fataha. Sakata, sakata. So basically, 1 second rule tells us that in order to pronounce the fatha, kasra or dhamma, you need to only and only pronounce them in 1 second. Now let's move on to some of the Quranic verses. I think this one was shortened than this, so this was written in this way. Actually, it's Surah Al-Baqarah. The last verse is verse number 7, and then the verse number 8 and 9 from the Surah Al-Baqarah. We have this. Inshallah, I will recite this. You can recite this along with me and see the difference, like the amount of stretching the Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma. The main problem that we have in recitation, which we usually face, is that people, they stretch unnecessarily the Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma. They should not stretch Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma more than 1 second. So here, if I just write down, so we are applying, now here we are should be ing. So we are applying the 1 second rule. We are applying the 1 second rule. On which words? I'm just highlighting the words. So we have this word. This is only fatha kasra dhamma. Here, obviously, we have a shadda. So this is exception. So you should look at this one, that whether I pronounce this in 1 second or not. Ignoring this because we have a noon with the sukoon. Obviously, it has its own rulings in the tajweed. Look at this letter, ya, whether I pronounce it in 1 second or not. Lam, it should be pronounced in 1 second. Again, mim should be pronounced in 1 second, not the noon. Noon should be stretched. This ba should be stretched in for 1 second. Ha for 1 second. Wa again. This ba should be stretched for 1 second. Yaum again. Mi again. So not the hamza with the alif or alif with the fatha. Kha, yes, for 1 second. Ra for 1 second. Wa for 1 second, not the ma. Hum should be pronounced in 1 second. Ba for 1 second. Mim with the wav for 1 second. Hamza. Yesterday we had the discussion. If you guys remember, I said if you see a hamza on top of wav, alif and ya, so remember that this wav, alif and ya is the chair for hamza. So here we have alif or hamza here actually. So mim should be stretched for 1 second, and the rest is obviously the long vowels. Similarly for the second verse, so before I go to the second verse, I recite the very first verse, inshallah. So you can see how I recite it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن. Now I'm stretching the second noon, not the first one. I'm connecting this to this. ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين بمؤمنين ومن I'm stretching this noon. If I'm stretching something, it's not the first one, it's the second one. ومن الناس من يقول يقول ومن الناس من يقول آمنا. Straightforward. Within 1 second, I'm moving from mim to the noon. آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين. So this is how we pronounce fatha, kasra, and dhamma. Let me just highlight here as well the ones which I will be inshallah pronouncing in 1 second, where I can apply that rule. Okay. Ha, walladhina, not this one. Dhina, this is a long vowel. Na, yes. Noon, manu, mim, wama, yakh, da, not this one. Na, again, illa, fu, sa, hum, wa, yash, ru, run, obviously we stretch it. So this is you, kha, di, ru, na. So I did not circle this one. So look at this. You khadi'una, yukhadi'una, yukhadi'una, na, yukhadi'una Allah, walladhina amanu, wa ma yakhda'una, na, illa أنفسهم أنفسهم وما يشعرون. So the maximum limit of stretching a fatha kasra dhamma is 1 second. يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون. Now, if you have seen that ha is a heavy letter. So here I'm pronouncing this as a, like call, father, father or father. So call was the example for ha. Di'u It's not nallah. يخادعون الله و and والذين والذين آمنوا it's this sound of for fatha. ما again the sound of آمنوا وما وما يخدعون دعون again the sound of إلا. I'm not saying إلا, that is wrong. If I make it heavy, that is wrong. إلا إلا sound of kasra is is not a. I'm not saying illa. That is wrong. You know, when we make kasra a, the fatha becomes heavy. Illa. So that is the Persian or Urdu accent. But in Arabic you say illa أنفسهم إلا أنفسهم أنفسهم وما يشعرون أنفسهم. I'm not saying أنفسهم وما يشعرون. So O is not the sound of Dhamma. The sound of Dhamma is U. أنفسهم وما يشعرون. So the sound of fatha is for the light letters. For the heavy, yukha is a. The sound of kasra, di'una, di, alladhina. Again, illa, i. The sound of kasra is e. The sound of dhamma is u, not o. Yukha. We don't say yoha. Yo is wrong. If I bring the sound of O, that is wrong. That's why I said U as in oops. So remember the example, oops. يخادعون الله. Again, آمنوا يخدعون أنفسهم وما يشعرون. So we have the sound of U for Dhamma. If a person can identify the heavy letters and the sound of Fatha, Kasra, Dhamma on the heavy letters, and then inshallah we have a discussion of the long vowels in the coming lecture, in the next lecture inshallah. So if someone applies these rules on the heavy letters and the light letters, his accent automatically becomes Arabic. His accent automatically becomes Arabic. Why? Because he knows what are the heavy letters, the sound of Fatha. Let me just write down the signs, Kasra and Dhamma, and then inshallah we have the other discussions like regarding the long vowels. So if you apply this thing on the heavy letters and the light letters, your accent automatically becomes Arabic. Now, I will be inshallah reciting the last verse here, which we have, and then we will be opening the room for the question and answer. I can see there are lots of messages on the chat. So I will open the room after this for the Q&A. And I will recite this verse, the last verse, inshallah, and we will be opening the room, inshallah. Khatam Allahu Kha. So see, Kha is a heavy letter. Now let me just mark the heavy letters and the heavy letters, so you can see the difference of the pronunciation. The Lam of Allah, because there is a fatha before this, it becomes heavy. All right. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. عظيم. ضيم. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. عظيم. So خاتم الله. خاتم الله. I'm not making this meme heavy. Sometimes people make the meme, like the fatha before the Allah, heavy. Like they say خاتم الله. This is wrong. خاتم الله. خاتم الله. Only Lam of Allah should become heavy because of the rule that there is a fatha or dhamma before it. ختم الله على على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم. heavy. غشاوة. I'm not saying غشاوة. غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. عظيم. So these are the verses. So if with the sequence, if I have to read these verses again, so this is number 1, obviously verse number 7, number 2, the verse number 8, number 3, verse number 9. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون. So this is the verses that we have. So inshallah we will be opening the room inshallah for the question and answer, and those who have their questions, inshallah, they can ask the questions. So let me just quickly allow everyone. So those who have questions, inshallah, I think the questions are on the chat, if I'm not wrong. So let me take questions from the chat, and after that, if there is anyone left, they can unmute their mic and ask questions. So inshallah, starting from the very first question here. All right. The very first question here was, please give an example of an Arabic word for each heavy letter. So let me just quickly move on to the kasra part. So it's khi, khi, ri, khi, ri. Ra is light, obviously, with the kasra. khi, ri, and I said only 4 letters are heavy. Sli, dli, tli, vli, ri, and qi. So only 4 letters, sad, wad, ta, va is heavy when we are basically pronouncing the with the kasra. So only these 4 letters are heavy. So their sound is like sli, sad, sli, wad, vui, ta, tui, va, vui. So they have somehow a sound of like u and e, ui at the end, like the beginning, the head of like, obviously this is va or ta. So this is ta. So you can say it should be like this. Tui, vui, something like that. Vui, it will va. So it will be like vui, something like that. So again, I said these are not the perfect way of telling a pronunciation. You can know by listening to the sound. So this was the very first question. The second question is with dal and ta. Okay, with dha and ta or sad and zad. Now a question was, can you pronounce the there with dal and ta? Sad, dha, ta, dha. If you mean dal by this is dal. This is dha, ta, dha. So the pronunciation of kasra is, obviously I said toy, ta. Remember ta. In order to practice, just say the name of the letter first, ta, and then apply kasra, the e to this. Ta, ti, dha, dhi, dha, dhi, ta, ti, sa, si. Sheen, obviously this is the name, sheen, she. Dal, the, ra, ri. Jim, ji. Ha is he. For example, the alif is e, a, e, u. Ba, bi, bu. All right. Ja, ji, ju. And this is like va, vi, vu. Ta, twi, tu.
Assalamu
Now,
alaikum, brother.
alaykum salam.
Can you explain these examples in some verse, in Quranic
Inshallah.
verse?
Inshallah. All right. Let me just finish the questions from the chat, inshallah, and then we move on to the questions from the live questions. So, because when I was explaining the lecture, the people, like obviously the students, they had the questions, so they write the questions first. Let me go through them first, and then inshallah we will be answering the new questions. It seems pronunciation of heavy letters with dhamma seems to be the same. Sad is sa, su. All right, sa, su. Dha, dhu. Ta, tu. Dha, dhu. A, u. Now you can see the difference. Ka, ku. U, bu, tu, thu, ju, hu, hu, ru, du, dhu. Okay. Su, shu, su. Again, this is heavy. Sad, sa, su. Dha, dhu. Ta, tu. Dha, dhu. So this is how you need to practice, inshallah. Now, all right, and then all right, why does noon need to be stretched if it is in light letters? Inshallah, when you will when you will, inshallah, have the tajweed classes, or if you read the books related to tajweed, the noon has a ruling. Whenever noon is silent, it has a specific rule. In some cases, it is stretched. In some cases, it is merged into the other letters, which is called idgham in the tajweed, or it has iqlab, or it changes to another letter, maybe the meme, like whenever there's a ba after it. So there are the specific rules of noon. Whenever it has a sukoon on it. So inshallah, we're not talking about, obviously, this is the basic recitation, how to make your accent Arabic. So we are focusing on the basic things. These rules, they take time. Obviously, for each rule, that is regarding the noon sakin or tanween, we usually have one lesson for this, like why it changes to why it changes to meme, when to apply it, how to do this. So there is a practical level for this. Even after this, these recitation, this crash course, you all need to practice, and practice in a way that whenever a verse is put, like if someone asks you to recite a verse, you should be able to read it according to these rules. And after that, the next level is the tajweed, and then obviously it has its own lectures, and it has its own, like you need to spend the time on this in order to understand the rules of the noon. So that was about the noon. Apart from the heavy lectures, how do we know which lectures to stretch? We do not stretch any letter. Even the heavy lectures, we are not stretching the heavy lectures. We are not stretching the heavy letters. Let me go back to the verses. If you see, we have khatama, khatama Allahu, khatama. I did not stretch kha. It's a heavy letter. I said the 1 second rule is applied on fatha kasra dhamma. So the movement that you learned today is fatha kasra dhamma. There is no stretching. The maximum amount you can stretch is 1 second. Less than 1 second or 1 second. So up to 1 second, you need to stretch it. So we are not stretching the heavy letters. We are not stretching the light letters. Okay, whenever they have a fatha, kasra, or dhamma. Yes, we stretch them. For example, in this case, sorry. So in this case, for example, if we are stretching it, it's because of another rule. We will be talking about this rule, inshallah, in next session. These are the long vowels. Today we are talking about the short vowels. If you have seen this, we were talking about the short vowels. We had this in the, obviously we started from here. We started from here, short vowels. So there are 3 types of short vowels: fatha, kasra, dhamma. The amount of stretching them is only 1 second, no matter if these short vowels are on the heavy letters or the light letter. So this does not matter whether it's on the heavy letter or the light letter, inshallah. Now, okay, the next question is letter with, all right, inshallah, we'll talk about the tashdid later in the coming classes. All right, who is Hamza without hatta? Pronounce, or I can't, if you write like the English, in English, the Arabics, I can't understand. So if you can just unmute, it's from the Askar family. There was a question about who or hatta, something like that. So if you can ask it on the mic, inshallah, it will be more clear for me, because the message, the question was sent at 2 o'clock. Sorry, the message was sent at 5:30, I think.
I think that question is repeated below also again. How is Hamza without Fatha? I think Fatha pronounced, or is it silent?
From the beginning, learning to read in a correct way.
Maulana is muted and rest of us are probably unmuted.
Maulana, we can't hear you.
All right, sorry. Now can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So basically, if I go to the Fatha here, Hamza, here Hamza is with Fatha, okay? If this Hamza do not have anything on it, no Fatha, no Kasra, no Dhamma, we cannot pronounce it. We need to take the name of this letter, which is Alif. We will read this letter with the name of the letter, as we discussed yesterday, all right? So yesterday we said that it is a letter that do not have any movement. Now, if you see an Alif or Hamza with this sign on top of it, for example, if I move on to the verses at the end, like here, you can see this, all right? You can see this. How to read them, inshallah, in the last session, we will be talking about this Hamza. What kind of Hamza is this? But this one, inshallah, in the next session, you will know this Alif, this Hamza without any sign on it, how to pronounce it, and what do we call this. So we're going to, inshallah, talk about this in the next session, or maybe we have this one as well. All right. About this one, we said yesterday, anything with the zero on top of it, we talked about the signs. Any letter with the zero on top of it, it's a silent letter. We don't read it. It's a sign of something else. It's a sign that it tells like the waf before it is a plural. So it's a sign. So we don't read this alif. Okay, we talked about it yesterday. In the signs of the Quran, if you see zero on top of any letter, it means that's a silent letter. We don't read it. We write it, but we don't read it. For these alifs which have no signs on them, or maybe this one, a kind of sod on top of it, inshallah, we will talk about these in the coming sessions. Now, the question is, you said the Fatha, there are 8 heavy letters. For Kasra and Dhamma, the heavy letters are, for the Kasra, they are 4, and that is Sad, Dad, Ta, Dha, which are all together. For the Dhamma, we apply, like the some of the Qari, they say you can apply the Dhamma for all of these. That's why I marked these ones. Like they say this is definitely heavy, but for the Kha, Ghain, and Qaf, we are having the heavy sound. Some of the Qari, they say like, no, we don't have. So there's a difference, but it doesn't matter, because even if you pronounce it lightly or heavily, it is pronounced in the same way. There is no big difference. Okay, so that is regarding this, inshallah. And the next question is, since Dad is a heavy letter, how would you pronounce it if it has a kasra? Okay, Dha. Remember, Sad, Dad, Sad, Dad, Dha, Dha, Dhi, Dad, Dhi. All right, Dhi. So the best way to pronounce, I explained it before, take the name, Dad, and then apply the kasra, Dhi, Dha, Dhi, Dad, Dhi, Ta, Dhi, Dha, Dhi, Sa, Si. Okay, so that's how you need to practice basically. How to pronounce Dal and They with kasra, Dal. So this is Dal. We said yesterday, for the Dal, you are basically touching your front of your tongue to the top teeth and saying Dal, Dal. And if there is a kasra, it will the, Dhu, the. So all the time your tongue should touch the lower part of your top teeth, inshallah. So Dhu, the. And this is Z, Z. So you're joining your teeth, Z at Z. So here you're keeping your tongue free and not touching anywhere. And then you're pronouncing this letter, Z, Zahid, Z, Zu, Z, Z, Zu, Z. That is the, Zu, the, Z, Zu, Z. And this is the heavy version of, obviously, this letter. La, Dhu, Dhi. So that is how we are doing, inshallah. Um, okay, so let me now go on to the examples. And for the heavy letters, some of you asked question. For example, here we had the heavy letter عظيم, عذاب عظيم, ظيم. We had here the example for a heavy letter being pronounced with the kasra. ضا ظي عظيم ولهم عذاب عظيم ظيم. All right, so you have a ظو. Just remember, you have a sound of oo, a little bit of oo in the heavy letters. For these letters, like for these 4 letters, we have a sound of a little bit oo and then e after this. Like whatever it is, this is ضا ظي عظيم. All right. صراط الذين صاد. We had the example. صي, or you can say صي. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صراط الذين. All right. اهدنا الصراط. صراط. اهدنا الصراط. It's line, that is seen. If someone says اهدنا الصراط, that is wrong. اهدنا الصي. If you see صي, if I go slowly, if I pronounce this slowly, اهدنا الصي اهدنا الصراط الذي اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Okay, so that's how we usually pronounce. Now, those who have questions, they can unmute their microphones on the chats. We are done with the questions, and you can ask questions while you have
Can
unmuted
you
your
play
mic.
Shayati? طه.
شياطين طين شياطين طين. That's how you can say. So the book which we were talking about is this. Obviously, I shared this book now. Let me just make it a bit bigger so you can see the examples. Here we have the examples of the lectures, how they appear in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. So these are the examples of fatha, like bada'a, sabara, dhahaba. Here you can practice the light letters and the heavy letters. Taraka, fataha, sakata, tamara, mathala, ba'atha, all the light letters. And jama'a, wajada, maraja, مرج البحرين مرج. You see, if you pronounce the heavy letters the way it should be and the light letters it should be, you will have a specific tone. You will have a rhythm while pronouncing the Arabic words. مرج You don't need to you don't need to pronounce it with like a specific tone. مرج جمع وجد مرج حمل أحد شراح. So it becomes heavy, like the ra. So you will have a rhythm or a beautiful tone while reciting the Quran. ختم دخل. So دخل. ونفخ. Again, we have this example here. So these are the examples for the fatha. And if we move on to the examples of kasra, obviously we wrote the pronunciation in order to tell you like how to bring up your minds closer to the pronunciation. Like ibili, habita, obviously you know the fatha here, so habita, abati, bitithi, تجد. The good thing about these exercises is all these words have been taken from Quran. These are the Quranic words. So even like if we didn't find any example for a word, for a specific word having a movement, it means that does not exist in Quran. So for example here, dha, like dha with the kasra, we don't have it in Quran. So in Quran, we couldn't find any word in which we have a dha with the kasra. Okay, so the dha with the kasra does not exist in the Quran. If someone can find it, inshallah, please tell us so we can add the example. But as far as we search in the Quran and try to find out a word, a Quranic word, a word in the Quran in which this letter will have a kasra, we couldn't find it in Quran. The ta, yes.
Azim have kasra.
Azim, ahsantum. Azim has a kasra. So we can write down Azim here. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَظِيمٍ. All right, maybe the reason they didn't put the, they didn't mention this example is because there's a tanween. So we can bring Azim with the note below this that sorry, do you see the book or you see the presentation? So we can make a note here in the footnote, inshallah, we can add that is a kasra. But obviously, we should remember that in Azim, obviously that is related to, that has a ya after that. And that is a long vowel, basically. We haven't reached to that. Here we are talking about the short vowel, like khati fa, khati fa. So if we have an example in which this letter has come with the kasra and not with the long vowel, because in Azim, if you see there is a ya after that, and that ya is basically, it makes it to stretch the letter. So inshallah, we'll work on it, inshallah. Riwaja, again, ghi, anything with the short vowel, we couldn't find an example here. So that's why there is no example. But in the long vowels, when we go to the long vowels, we will have these things there, inshallah. Hafidha, hafidha, hafidha. Baqiya, baqiya. Maliki. All right. So these are the examples, inshallah. So let me just quickly move on to the verses, to inshallah recite the verses at the end of the this book. So we have different verses here, and like Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. You read this in the Surah Al-Ikhlas. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Lam. It's not lam yalid. Lid, lam yalid is wrong. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. La a'budu ma ta'budun. If you see pronouncing Fatha Kasra Dhamma in 1 second. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. Raish. Okay, this is Ra. Raish. Coming on to the Ya. لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. فَجَعَلَهُمْ. All of them are like فَجَعَلَهُمْ. فَجَعَلَهُمْ. In 1 second, like فَجَعَلَهُمْ. فَجَعَلَهُمْ كَعَصْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ. كلا سوف تعلمون. تعلمون. سوف. The sound of فأما من ثقلت موازينه. Okay, so these are the examples, inshallah. And at the end of this, inshallah, we have other verses. وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ. Ta is heavy. If you can see, وَيْلٌ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ. ما أغنى Even if I'm stopping on this, it should have a heavy sound. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب. كسب. Stopping at the end. ألم ترى. You see, ra is heavy, so the sound is changing. ألم ترى كيف. So if you just read it normally, ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. So you will have a specific rhythm or tone while reciting, because you're pronouncing heavy letters as a and the light letters as a. So you're changing between a and a. O. Okay, so this is how it goes. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. Sad is heavy, not the alif. Sorry. It is sad which is heavy, not the alif. So don't make it be ashabi, be حاب الفيل. كلا سوف تعلمون. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. قدر heavy. ولقد آتينا داود وسليمان علما. وتفقد تفق is heavy. وتفقد الطير. is again heavy. وتفقد الطير فقال is heavy. فقال ما لي لا أرى الهدهد أم كان من الغائبين. غين is heavy. غائبين. So these are some of the examples, inshallah, that are in the book, inshallah. And those who want to practice, inshallah, they can practice through the Quran. Try to basically try to take the names of the vowels, inshallah. Do you see the screen or not? All right. So try to take the names of the alphabets first. Like for the heavy alphabets, it is Sad, and then try to apply the Fatha. Sad, Sa. All right. Ra is Ra. Za, Zai. The name is Za. Sa. So the very first thing which you need to, inshallah, be paying attention to is the heavy letters, the difference between the, obviously, we have heavy letters. I'm emphasizing on these heavy letters because this make a lot of difference in your recitation. Heavy letters, which are basically, we have Sad, Dad, Ta, Dha. I write them all together because they come together. And then we have, obviously, we have in sequence Ha, Ra, and then Ghain and Qaf. So these are the heavy letters. Apart from these letters, the rest are light. But for these heavy letters, inshallah, when you're pronouncing these heavy letters, you need to remember the example, call, the sound of Fatha, for Fatha. So this is for Fatha. Remember this, okay? And whereas it is concerned to the light letters, so this is for the, inshallah, heavy letters. When you will be reciting the heavy letters, you should be considering these things while reciting the heavy letters. For the light letters, what is the sound of Fatha? Sound of Fatha.
That is stretching your mouth and
No. I'm not stretching. Ah. 1 second. Ah. The sound of Fatha for heavy letters is ah. Ah,
Apple.
sa, da,
Apple.
ta, wa. Apple. So this was the example. We had apple, the sound of okay, and astronaut, accent, apple, astronaut, and these are all examples of the light letters. So the sound of fatha for the light letters is a. The sound of fatha for the heavy letters is a. If I'm stretching a in order to explain you, that is only for explanation. I said we have the rule of, there is a rule with the name of 1 second rule. 1 second rule, which is for fatha kasra dhamma. You need to stretch them for 1 second. So if I go back to this slide, even if obviously there's still a confusion. So this is a, ba, ta, tha, ja, ha, kha, da, da, ra, za, sa, sha, sa, wa, ta, va, a, ga, fa, qa, ka, la, ma, na, ha, wa, ya. So all of them should be pronounced, like each letter should be pronounced with the fatha in 1 second, not more than that. If I am stretching it a bit longer, it is only because I'm explaining this, how to pronounce it. But you guys need to remember, the rule is 1 second rule. It's not more than 1 second. So you should remember this. Still, if there is any question, we'll take questions. If there is something which is not clear, because it is very important to differentiate between the heavy letters and light letters and to pronounce them properly.
Moana, you said you will only stretch the long vowels, right?
Yes, inshallah, we'll talk about them in the next session. We're not talking about long vowels now because then the people will confuse between the long and short vowels. For now, we're just talking about the short vowels, which is fatha, kasra, dhamma. We have only 3 short vowels. And these 3 short vowels, obviously, they must be pronounced in 1 second. So the rule is 1 second rule. We need to follow the 1 second rule, inshallah. There is another way of calculating how to pronounce these letters, and that is by hitting on the table or your hand. For example, they also do this, like while pronouncing. I don't know if you can hear my hand.
Yes.
Or I'm hitting the table. You hear this voice?
Yes.
All right. Now I will read the alif till ya with this sound. A, ba, ta, ta, ja, ha, kha, kha, da, da, ra, za, sa, sha, sa, wa, ta, wa, a, ga, fa, qa, ka, la, ma, na, ha, wa, ya. So you see, I'm hitting the table in 1 second continuously. In the same time, I need to pronounce the word. A, kha, da, a, kha, da. I should not make it longer than this. So this, if it becomes like 2 seconds, it is wrong. All right. So even if you can look at the clock, look at your, like if you have a wristwatch, so try to pronounce like a, ba, ta, ta, ja. That is the maximum amount you can go. All right. So a, ba, ta, ta, ja, ha, kha, da, da, ra. That is the maximum amount of stretching a word. For example, wa minan, wa mina. I should say wa mina maximum, wa mina. These 3 in 3 seconds. That's the maximum amount of stretching this. I can do this like quicker, but the maximum amount of pronouncing this should be 3 seconds. For example, here we have akhadha. All right. The maximum amount of saying these 3 letters should be 3 seconds. And the 3 seconds should be divided equally for each of them. Akhadha. That is the maximum amount. Akhadha, sa'ala, dhara'a. بدأ صبر. I cannot say صبر. That is wrong. That is wrong. صبر ذهب ترك فتح. So 1 second, look at the clock, see the seconds when they move. The maximum amount is this. Or the other way is like usually when they teach, like the teacher, he hits the table like on continuous basis for 1 second. It's a continuous, like the gap between the hitting is the same. Between this, you need to pronounce like أخذ سأل ذرأ بدأ. So I cannot change, I cannot prolong anything. So the 1 second rule tells us that the Fatha Kasra Dhamma should be pronounced in 1 second. Yes, brother. We have a question. Can you pronounce the difference between the letter Sad for both, I think, Kasra and Dhamma? In what it would sound lightly versus heavy. All right, the letter Sa, this Sa, whether it has a Fatha or Kasra or Dhamma, in all cases, it is obviously heavy. It does not have a light sound. All right, so let me just write down here. For example, we have Sad with the Fatha, Sad with the Kasra, and then Sad with the Dhamma. Sad is the actual word. Sad, Sa, Si, So. Sa, Si, So. So there is no lightness in it. The only thing is, in the Kasra, we have Sui. You need to come to E at the end. Sa, Si, So. All right. If I put a dot, yes, sister.
Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaykum assalam.
Okay, you know, when we say this surah, like, Inna Atallahu fi Laylatul Qadr.
Inna
Okay.
anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Yes.
Qadr, yes. Now, sometimes I get confused. We say Qadr. Qadr.
It's not
No.
qadr, it's
Yeah.
qadr.
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 Yeah.
Qadr.
Qadr. Qadr.
If someone says qadr, it is wrong. He's giving a fatha to dal.
Okay.
For example,
yeah.
do you see the book now? Yeah.
Yes.
So the verse is here.
Yeah.
Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil
Laylatul
qadr. Basically, there is a rule in tajweed. Yes, there is a rule in tajweed regarding 5 letters. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. Qaf, ta, ba, jim, dal. This is called qutb jad as well.
Yeah,
whenever they are silent, whenever they are silent, like they have a sukoon, if we do not stress on them, they are non-listenable. Like obviously we are pronouncing them, we are reading them, but for the listeners, they do not hear the sound of this dal. For example, inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr.
Yeah, the whole surah is ending in qadr, you know, Laylatul Qadr. Yeah.
So you need to stress on dal without saying a, e, u. Qadr. How you make it silent? The ra. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Qadr. It's not qadr. Okay.
Okay. Qadr. Is it right? Qadr. Qadr.
Qadr.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sheikh.
So, brother K1, Sad with the fatha is Sa, Sad with the kasra is Si, Sad with the dhamma is Su. So that's how we basically pronounce. All right. The kasra and dhamma does not make Sad light. the kasra or dhamma never makes sad light, and sad never becomes light whenever it has a kasra or dhamma. If you're pronouncing sad lightly, it means you're not pronouncing sad, you're pronouncing seen instead. Sorry. Do you guys still have the screen?
Now we have it. Now we have it.
Now you have it. All right. So, this. Can you, brother, unmute your mic and tell me how you're pronouncing sad lightly and then how you're pronouncing it heavily? Because it's still confusing you. Brother K1.
Yeah, I would pronounce it sli, but I just want to understand what it would sound like if it's in the light form, so I can know the difference. I know it's only the heavy form, but I'm having trouble understanding the difference. Just if you pronounce it.
Sad never becomes light. That is the first thing. Why? Because it is sad. It is heavy. All right. Something which is heavy can never become light. That is very first thing. So whenever it has a fatha or kasra or dhamma, so it always have a heavy sound. But if someone, like we have, let me just write down the verse. Can you read this verse?
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
If you say اهدنا الصراط, it is, you're making it a sin. اهدنا الصراط, say. It should be C, number one. The sound of kasra should be E, not A. اهدنا الصراط, اهدنا الصي, صي. You need to stretch, like make it heavy. Try to do this. Try to say this. Now pronounce it. Can you do this?
صي.
صي. صي. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. مستقيم. Okay. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Okay. So this is obviously you need to practice for this. Even those who are like saying, like the way you said, اهدنا الصراط.
Can
somehow,
I pronounce? So it is correct or no? You can.
Bismillah.
It is اهدنا الصراط
اهدنا
المستقيم.
الصراط المستقيم. أحسن. You were very close. So inshallah, by practicing and by listening to the Qari, because I said yesterday, listen to Khalil Husri. The way he recites, how he basically pronounces the words. So inshallah, by listening to him, you will be, inshallah, by practicing, you will know how he does. So let me just play Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim the way he does it, so we can all hear his recitation, inshallah. Let me start from Iyaka na'budu.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
So so the sound of fatha is a. Iyaka, ka. It's not ka. Na'budu wa iyaka, a. Again, nasta'in.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين
صراط الذين. So you need to have, like, obviously those who have good listening power, and they're like they're very good at listening. If you slow down somehow, if you have the audio of this, try to slow down. Obviously on the mobile phone you can do that, like you can listen to an audio by like making on the fast track, like multiply by 2 or 3. So you make it on like listening on the fast track. If you slower down the recordings or the audio that you have for this example, for example from Khalil Hossein or any other reciter, if you listen, you will know that, like when they're reciting, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. So basically the fatha, kasra, dhamma, even if you have noticed, he is not stretching them unnecessarily. The maximum amount of pronouncing the fatha, kasra, dhamma is 1 second. Sad is صيرات, صيرات. So you need to, inshallah, practice. If you say سيرا, سيرا, it is wrong. Like صراط الذين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, inshallah. So any other questions? We had someone who raised the hand. I think we answered the sister. Do you still have the question? Sister Tahira. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, Sheikh, I was going on this Sheikh Khalil Husri, but I was getting Mahmoud Khalil Husri. Is that right?
It's Mahmoud. It is Mahmoud as well. Like their grandfather, son, and grandson. There are 3 of them.
Oh, so
Khalil Hosri is the grandfather, the main.
Oh,
his son is Mahmoud, and then his son is Muhammad Mahmoud Hosri or Khalil Hosri.
Oh, because
so,
I was not getting Khalil Husri.
All right. What you can do is, inshallah, let me see if I have the. Do you guys see the?
Yes.
The browser, yes?
Yes.
Internet browser. So I'm going to one of the websites, which is tanzil.net. All right. And in this website, inshallah, let me. Here, all right. So here what you can do is, we have here surah, okay? When you go to the Quran section, you will have the surah, ayah, and juz, whatever you select. Then obviously here, Al-Hawsari Mujawwad. You guys see this? We have Al-Hawsari and Al-Hawsari Mujawwad.
Yes.
So, you can listen to both of them, all right?
Okay.
But the Mujawwad is a bit slower than the other one. But inshallah, you can listen to both of them. I don't know, it cannot, like this, the system does not play the sound for you guys. All right, let me just see, how can I share my sound of computer? Yes, I have these. All right, now tell me if you guys can hear the Khalil Hosri, inshallah.
براءة من الله ورسوله.
Do you hear the verse or not?
Yes.
Yes, all right. So let me just go back again. So
براءة من الله ورسوله إلى الذين عاهدتم من المشركين.
So number one, Bara'atum. Bara'a. Ba is light. Ra is heavy. Bara'atum minallahi. Allahi. Wa rasulihi. So, when you listen to a qari and you practice with him, the way I said, like yesterday, like you listen to him for 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, and 5 minutes in the evening. Slowly, slowly, when you do this, after a week, you will see, whenever you want to recite a verse or anything, you're reciting like him. You're basically copying him. Like, we have people like they recite Noha in the month of Muharram. Or if there is a national anthem, obviously, when everyone, they read national anthem all together, they are reading with the same tone. Why? Because they're trying to copy the singer, the one who has basically sung that national anthem or anything, or the Noha. Basically, whoever recited the Noha, they try to copy him, the mercy and all those things. Same is the case with the Quran. When you're about to learn Quran, don't just try to learn the rules and try to read it on your own. It's not a textbook the way we obviously do in like for the English language or the Persian or the Urdu language, the books that we read. If you want to do the recitation of the Quran, you need to listen to a qari and try to copy. And when you copy him, inshallah, you will be basically reciting accordingly. Now, I'm just going to move on to the last part of the Quran. For example, we had a question regarding the Surah Al-Qadr. So it's good to listen to Surah Al-Qadr, inshallah, and just see how he is pronouncing the kasra, fatha, dhamma. The heavy letters like qaf, we have here adra, raka, ra is heavy, okay, and ri, obviously when it becomes light, how it is like with the kasra, khayrum. So check the see how he reciting the Surah Al-Qadr, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر
ليلة القدر قاف is heavy قاف.
تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر
بإذن ربهم
سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر.
Now let me also put like Al-Husri Mujawwad for the same surah, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Now you see the sound changes. It's a studio recording.
إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر
قدر قاف is heavy.
وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من ألف شهر
خير خا is heavy. خير من ألف شهر
تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر
مطلع الفجر. So basically, what you need to do is, inshallah, when you are practicing Quran with the Qari. So I just gave you an example of the site. Like if you go to tanzil.net, here you can find this, inshallah. There are the translations as well. So you can find different Qaris. Like here we have Al-Husri, we have Ghamidi. Like for example, if I play Ghamidi for the same surah, you can see the difference, the way he is reciting.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
It's very fast.
إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك.
You see, in between two verses, they cut it down. Why? They cut the sound. Because he is reciting this during Taraweeh. So it's not a proper recording or the recording in the studio. But Khalil Husri, the best thing about him is he has recorded this in the studio. So he has recited each verse separately. Even if there are long verses, he made the stops in between the verses, inshallah. So you can go to tanzil.net, inshallah, and practice Quran there, inshallah. I think we have just 3 to 4 minutes left. If there is any
Yeah, Maulana, I just had
questions, we'll take.
just a side question on the last verse of Surah Qadr. If you could go on there, please, the way he recited.
All right. Yes.
So he said min kulli as opposed to kulla
Min kulli. This is kulli amr. Remember that, inshallah, we'll talk about this as well. Kulli is written like this. Kulli. If this sign, if it has a fatha, the sign will go on the top. Or dhamma like this. If it has a kasra, you can write it like this, or you can write it like this. Both ways. All right? So this sign, the sign of kasra is below this. So this is the main criteria for this. So kulli amr. It's not kulla amr. Yes.
So it's treated as a kasra then.
Yes, it is kasra. Someone raised the hand.
Assalamu alaikum, Maulana. Same on the same ayat, Be'izni Rabbihim. So I thought it says Rabbahum, Rabbah.
Rabbihim.
Yes.
Rabbihim. Obviously, the shadda has, the kasra is below the shadda.
Yeah.
That's how. You see here, if you see ruh, you see the shadda.
Yeah.
The dhamma is on top of that, not below that. Tanazzah. If it should be a, like fatha, it should be below, like the shadda, there is on top of that. So you can see this, that here we have on top of this, here the sign is below this sign of shadda. All right? Like hatta, again, there's a shadda and the fatha is on top of that. Yes. There was someone else who raised hand. Okay. I think we're done with the time. So inshallah, next weekend we will have the third
Sorry,
section.
Sheikh, to interrupt. Sheikh, sorry to interrupt. Is it tanzil.com or the website?
You can see here.
There.
Tanzil.net.
Oh.
TANZIL .net.
Okay, thank you.
If you can take a print screen, you will have this, inshallah, later.
Okay.
I think in the chat you can find the brothers have written the address. If you open the chat, you will find the address in there, and then you can copy paste, inshallah. So thank you very much for joining our Quran class, and obviously this is something which will help you in the next world, inshallah. All the struggles that you're doing, the way obviously you're putting your time in order to learn the Quran, to make yourself correct and to have a better recitation. Absolutely, there is a reward for this, and the reward is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah give the best reward to all of us who are basically taking part in these classes, maybe through managing the classes, through contacting people, through learning, through teaching, in any mean which they are using. May Allah give us the best tawfiq. May Allah forgive all our sins for the sake of Quran, inshallah. May Allah give us tawfiq to learn the teachings of Ahlul Bayt and the teachings of the Quran and have these two things together for our whole life, inshallah. May Allah hasten the reappearance of Imam of the time, Al-Qaim, Imam Mahdi alayhi salatu wassalam, the last savior and the authority and hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on us, and may He keep us amongst His companions. May Allah protect all the Mazlumeen, the oppressed people of the world, wherever they are, and may Allah remove all the oppressors or those who are oppressing these people around the world, inshallah. And keep us, may Allah keep us amongst those who are raising their voice, who are supporting, who are basically helping the oppressed ones, whether it's in Yemen, it's in Palestine, it's in any part of the world, America, Europe, Asia, anywhere. So may Allah, inshallah, keep us amongst the best companions of Imam of the time. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.